Come, let us explore the fifth verse of the Great Garuda in Flight, a Dzogchen classic. Together, let us relaxingly recite this. By the way, this is composed many centuries ago by Prahe Vajra of the Swat Valley of present-day Pakistan, which way back when was known as Odiyana. Together. As the one dimension is all-pervading, there is nothing to be added to it. As this dimension is endless, there is nothing to be taken away from it. There is no other hidden state that dwells beyond the manifest reality. The dimensions of the great self-origination always abides just as it is. All right, that might sound like pseudo-spiritual word salad, so I shall do my best to make sense of this for you. So what I think I'll do is shift gears and go over here to button 9. Sturgeon's law reminds us that 90% of everything sucks. This not only includes people, but meditation teachers. It has been said that the Buddha was flexible, loving, rational, laid-back, egalitarian, lucid, cooperative, and kind. But his foolish cousin, Devadatta, was rigid, fearful, superstitious, controlling, elitist, cryptic, competitive, and cruel. Most spiritual teachers unwittingly follow in the footsteps of the Buddha's foolish cousin. Most cultures around the world laud these attributes and denigrate these attributes. Even though we might use the term yin and yang, which have a definite Chinese reference to the 81 chapters or poems of the Tao Te Ching, these phenomena are older than Taoism, and they are universal. Wherever there are humans, we're going to see this imbalanced dichotomy. Having said that, now that I've laid the groundwork, let's return to the practice text. As the one dimension is all-pervading, there is nothing to be added to it. There is no secret reality that we unlock with a ritual or an artifact or a secret handshake. Tolkien's world was fun, but it was fiction. Many elitists are so rigid that when they perform a series of actions, if they don't like the results, instead of questioning their application of the teachings or their interpretation of the teachings or the teachings themselves, they just persist and say, I'll do it for another 100 lifetimes. I'll do it for another 1,000 lifetimes. And it is as if their mind was like the gaping maw of a medieval castle. And you can hear the heavy oaken doors slam. Boom, boom. Sorry, we're closed. And so the author is saying, there is no secrets. We don't need weird metaphysics. All we need to do is perform the basic practice. So I'm going to take a moment to remind you what the basic practice is. So once again, I'm going to tap button 9 and bring us over to the practice text. Now this might look like a big disorganized mess. So here's how it works. Mindfulness and meditation are words we hear a lot but seldom understand. Mindfulness is just noticing. Meditation is just physically relaxing and mentally releasing. Let's begin with mindfulness. Every time we inhale, whether we know it or not, the sympathetic aspect of our autonomic nervous system, ensconced within the middle third of our spinal cord, has already evolved to vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly notice mind's antics of perception. Sight, sound, sensations, flavors, scents, and the like, including emotions, intentions, cognitions, recollections, and imaginings. Because we notice passively and randomly, we do not pick and choose what we notice. We notice things, whatever comes up, be it external or internal, physical or mental, pleasurable or painful, interesting or boring, glorious or grotesque. We simply notice it. But what do we do with that which we noticed? Every time we exhale, the parasympathetic aspect of our autonomic nervous system, divided between the lower third and the upper third of that same spinal cord, has evolved to help us to automatically physically relax and mentally release to such a degree that which we noticed during our previous inhalation could fleetingly feel less stressful, less permanent, and less defining, and figuratively feel as non-graspable as a vast empty void. Now, any good English teacher could remind us that a simile is only as useful as it is relatable. So we have to ask the question, what? What is a real-world example of a non-graspable, vast empty void? How about the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which, although could be tantalizing to the eye, is non-graspable to the hand? So we are always faced with a choice. Do we passively cooperate with the sympathetic and parasympathetic aspects of our autonomic nervous system that the ancients refer to as our Buddha nature, or do we actively compete against it by over-focusing and over-analyzing? That comes at a terrible price. Not only does it exhaust our prefrontal cortex, which sets us up to present with symptoms of depression, but it triggers our amygdala, the seat of both anxiety and aggression that are the opposites of peace and love. Fortunately, by passively cooperating with the sympathetic and parasympathetic aspects of our autonomic nervous system, by passively cooperating with our Buddha nature, not only do we calm our amygdala, but we gently stimulate our anterior cingulate gyrus, which functions as the hub of our mirror neurons, the seat of empathy, which is the root of both compassion and love. What is the most efficient way for us to passively cooperate with our Buddha nature? Simple. It's very simple. All we got to do is silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this each time we feel air enter our nostrils, and silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb ease each time we feel air exit our nostrils. We don't have to do this all day, every day. We can do this for 5 minutes at a time, maybe once every 12 hours or so. We could do this lying down. We could do this while walking around the block. We could do this while sitting as sustainably as we can. Those who don't know resort to superstition. Those who do know practice that which works. The Buddha taught this could be mastered in as little as 7 days. Perhaps that is why one of the most poignant nicknames of enlightenment is simply nothing special. We still feel the full spectrum of human emotions, but our choices, utterances, and deeds are less and less and less controlled by them. Now, let's return to the root text. As the one dimension is all-pervading, there is nothing to be added to it. So, in string theory of quantum physics, whenever there's confusion and they can't make the math work, they just add more dimensions. Same thing in spirituality. Whenever people can't achieve the goals they want, instead of re-examining their goals or re-examining their path or re-examining their application, they just start making shit up. Same thing in psychology. Before we had neuroscience, before we had imaging technologies like functional magnetic resonance imaging or magnetoencephalogram, people would philosophize, which is a fancy word for make shit up. And if there was a physical disorder they couldn't understand or didn't have the technology to test for, they would just blame the patient and say they were making shit up, or that they were crazed, or they had a conversion disorder, or their mommy didn't love them enough. And so this tendency to make shit up is not unique to Buddhism, it's not unique to meditation, it's not unique to spirituality, it is common to every human endeavor. In philosophy, there's a wonderful term, there's a wonderful section called logical fallacies. And a popular logical fallacy is the appeal to an absence of evidence. I don't know what A is, therefore it must be B. I don't know what that thing in the sky is, therefore it must be little green men. To paraphrase Neil deGrasse Tyson, you're half right. You don't know what it is. Don't make shit up. Just put a period at the right part of the sentence. I don't know what that is. Humans, whether it's from fear, whether it's from pride, don't like doing that. We keep making shit up. And so even way back, many, many centuries ago, this great reformer of Buddhism said, that's not necessary. It seems that which we can perceive with our eyes and ears and flesh and skin and nose and tongue and mind, that which we can emote and intend and reason and recall and imagine, it seems infinite. We don't need to add stuff to it. That infinity of what we can perceive and notice is sufficient. There's an old fable about a man seeking wealth, and so he exhausts himself and squanders his youth, trekking all over the known world, seeking for wealth. The great irony was all the wealth he could ever desire was buried only a meter under his house. We are like that. We don't need another empowerment. We don't need another mantra. We don't need a secret handshake. We don't need austerities. We don't need mysticism. We don't need ritual. Everything we need to master enlightenment, to master the Eightfold Path, to master noticing and letting go, and all the wisdom and love and centered spontaneity that comes from that is latent within our own central nervous system. self-origination is a fancy way of saying, just like I mentioned a few moments ago, we are wired to notice spontaneously, vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly. Consider the word randomly. We don't need to actively concentrate. We don't need a shopping list of contemplations. If we let our body and mind do what they do, and we cooperate with our autonomic nervous system that already is wired to notice and relax in harmony with our inhalation, exhalation, then we will receive the ultimate empowerment, the metaphoric empowerment of the here and the now. The here and the now doesn't mean we stop remembering or stop fantasizing. It doesn't mean we stop thinking. It simply means that we don't fight our body. We don't fight our mind. We cooperate with them. This is not the path of contrivance. This is not the path of scatteredness. This is the path of centered spontaneity. Having completed our opening lesson, it's time for us to now shift gears. It is Obi-Wan Kenobi Wednesday morning. Come, let us meditate like a Jedi. No, I'm not I might not be the smartest guy on the block, but I assure you I'm not a complete idiot. I don't look at Star Wars as a historical document from a galaxy far, far away. No, no, no. It's just a fun set of metaphors that can be useful to play with. Humans love stories, and humans use stories as similes and metaphors with which to communicate. Since we first had language, we've been doing it. It's hardwired into us. It's baked into our cake. So let's do all that after approximately 30 seconds of housekeeping. This is the Dzogchen Sunday Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. For more than 30 years, I have harnessed my autistic special interests as well as my ADHD hyperfocus to spend about 8 hours a day, almost every day, studying, practicing, mastering, and reverse engineering the teachings and techniques of each school of meditation so that I can become your personal, nerdy, neurodivergent guide to nirvana. Welcome, my friends, to Meditate Like a Jedi, which is made possible due to the generosity of viewers just like you. For the remainder of this morning's live stream, let's play with the latest iteration of very easy meditation practice text, or sadhana, if you're nasty. Remember, the moment you have a specific question about Buddhist philosophy or meditation, do not hesitate to type your question in great detail in the chat window, for I tend to check for questions approximately every 13 minutes or so. You have taken your first step into a much larger world. If you feel that I have earned it, you could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could even help support this channel. In approximately 10 3/4 hours, I would very much like to return to lead today's evening meditation class as well as group practice. And if you are as geeky as me, may the Force be with you always.